A very good morning, students. And in today's discussion, we are going to discuss about some of the basic concepts which are essential for developing your hardware Verilog design. And the concepts are lexical conventions, data types, system task, and compiler directives. Okay, let us discuss about lexical conventions. These lexical conventions are the constructs which are highly used in the Verilog language as they provide the necessary framework for your Verilog HDL design. Clearly understanding about the lexical conventions which also involves with operators, comments, white spaces, numbers, strings, identifiers. The basic lexical convention used in Verilog are similar to those which we see in our C programming language. As the Verilog HDL contains a stream of tokens, the tokens familiarly may also be called as a comments, delimiters, strings, identifiers as discussed in the previous point. Now let us discuss in detail each and every token that we are going to use in our Verilog HDL language. Okay, the first and the foremost thing is white spaces. These white spaces are occurred whenever we use the tab key or a new line or a blank space. These generally are ignored in Verilog except whenever we are using the keywords, and these are not ignored whenever we are using the strings. Okay, that means whenever it is used, I mean to say that the white spaces are considered whenever we are using the tokens. That means I am having here a two tokens. In order to separate two tokens, white space is to be considered. And also whenever I am writing a sentence like hello world, so it is a string. So hello is separated with world by using a space. So at this time we are not going to ignore the white space. Okay, so let us see how these white spaces are used in our Verilog HDL programming. So here you can able to see that I have written a program and the module name for this program is exp. The module name here I have taken as exp, and the inputs and outputs is y s a comma b. So it is nothing but it is a simple 2 cross 1 2 by 1 multiplexer is the design what I have written the code for. Now if I didn't give any white spaces like this, for example, that means input is not treated more as a keyword or it is not considered as a token. Okay, so in order to separate some tokens I need to use the definitely a white space. So in this way white space is used. Okay, so starting from first line, so if after a comma if I have pressed a tab, Verilog will not consider the space, and if I use some space between a comma b, it just ignores. And if I use next line, like if I press the enter button which indicates it is a new line, so Verilog still ignores the spaces. So far we have seen a white space like this, and even if I press the tab button and even if I press the enter button for new line, Verilog simply ignores these white spaces. Okay, one thing it should be clear. And Verilog doesn't ignore, for example, white space is highly essential in separating the tokens. As it is mentioned, it is highly used in separating the strings and it is highly used in separating the tokens. Okay, so let me go with in behavioral abstraction what I will be doing. Output reg generally I will be using for whenever I am defining my internal of a module. I am defining the logic of a module by using the behavioral abstraction. Whenever I simply indicate my output variable along with reg as a keyword. Reg as a keyword I am definitely have to use here. Of course, the logic what I have written inside your Verilog module is completely a data flow abstraction level. This is a data flow abstraction. The logic here I developed is okay. I told you that it is white space is not ignored. Okay, if output reg, if I didn't given any space, it doesn't give any meaning. Okay, that means white space have to be present here. That means this white space is useful in separating the tokens. Output is a token, I mean output is one keyword and reg is one more keyword. And for example, this white space is not ignored in strings. What is a string here? If for example I have written like this, so what is this reg by? I don't know. The Verilog compiler doesn't understand. So in this case I definitely require a white space. Okay, this is the usage of it. Okay, so moving to the next one, that is comments. So used for what? Generally these comments can be inserted in the code mainly for readability, documentation purpose. So the comments here are maybe a single line comment as well as the multiple line comment or a multi-line comment. Okay, let us move here. Now what I have taken, so assign y equal to negation of a. So I don't know what is this. Basically I am doing here a unary operation to my operand a. So if I have taken a equal to 0, I will be getting output y equal to 1. That means negation is the principle that is involved here. Okay, so some of the laypersons cannot understand what is this, for which what I will be using here is I will be using a single line comment after this one, and single line comment is always represented by forward slashes, two forward slashes like this. Okay, unary operator, I have used it as unary operator, that's it. Okay, now the second one is a binary. Okay, I will discuss in detail about this unary, binary and tertiary operator. Okay, so if I would like to do the documentation in multiple lines. Okay, so for the single line comment representation I have used it here. For multiple line comment representation I am using in this manner. Like for example, if I hadn't taken like this in this manner, that means Verilog compiler will compile my entire code from here to here, but I want only my third instruction to get executed. So that means these two lines should be in a comment section. So this is the usage. Like if I use this kind of representation here, starting and ending, these multiple two lines are kept as a comment section. Okay, this is the way how I am going to use the multiple line comments for the documentation purpose or for the readability or for understanding the instruction in this way. Okay, and so this is about single line comment as well as the multiple line comment. Okay, the next one is operators. So the most common operators in our Verilog HDL are unary operator, binary operator and ternary operator. So what are these unary, binary and ternary means? Unary operator, this operator operates only on single operand. Binary means this operator operates on two variables or two operands, and ternary operator is the only one representation we are having here in our Verilog HDL. So this is nothing but a conditional operator. We call this ternary operator as a conditional operator, such that it is operate only on three variables. Okay, now let us see here. I am having my inputs are input a comma b, input s. So assign y. That means y is equal to negation of a. I am doing what here? Unary operator, unary operation. That means inverter operation I am doing here. And assign y equal to a logic and b. That means here this is a binary operator that is operating on two variables, and this is the instruction, and this operation is operating on three variables. This is how ternary operator comes into a picture. Okay, this is about operators. And moving to the next one, we are having here the number specification. What is this number specification? We have four kinds, that is sized, unsized, unknown, and high impedance values, negative numbers. So what is this? Let us see one by one clearly and slowly. Generally the numbers, we know that the numbers may be of sized, unsized. So what is this sized? So whenever in the sized number representation, we have the syntax like size, tick, base format, and number. The size should be in decimal number, and it specifies how many number of bits are there in our number. Okay, and so for example, in here you can see size. What is the size here? 4. So 4. Base format. The base format we are having here, 4 base formats: decimal, binary, octa, hexadecimal. Decimal is represented by D, binary is B, octa is represented by O, and hexadecimal is represented by H. Okay, 4. Tick. B, that means base format. Number. What is the number I am having here? So this number is the number in radix, that means base. Okay, so 4-bit binary. B indicates it's a base format. That means the number should be either 0 or 1. All the four numbers, all the four quantities, all the four, because the quantity, how many quantity I am having here? 4 quantity. That means it is a size, and the base format is B. How many quantities I should have here? It is 4. That means it may be a 0 or it may be a 1. 4-bit binary, 1 1 1 1. Okay, moving to next example, 12-bit hexa ABC. That means I am having here a 12-bit number. Okay, sorry for the interruption. And I am having here a 12-bit hexa ABC. That means it is a 12-bit quantity ABC. For C, I do have an hexadecimal value, that is 1100, and for B also I am having hexadecimal, and for A also I am having hexadecimal. That means 4 2 is 8, 4 3 is 12. That means I am having a 12-bit quantities, 12-bit hexa ABC. The corresponding A, B, and C hexadecimal value will be present in your 12-bit register. That is the meaning of this one. And coming to here, 16-bit decimal 255. So for 255 you will be getting some value. The count or the quantity of this value in binary is 16. 16 is the number. Okay, so this is about sized numbers. So let us see its a hardware implementation part here. Somewhere I have written. Yes, this is sized and this is my unsized. Let me complete unsized also. So for unsized, here for sized representation, I definitely going to have an indication for what is the quantity or what is the size. But in the unsized, I don't require any sized representation. I can write directly without any quantity indication or quantity representation. Like without size specification, it have a default number of bits that is specific to a particular simulator or a compiler. That means it is a machine specific. Generally it should be at least 32 bit in width. Okay, so here 2 3, like for example, let me take here 2 3 4 5 6 2 3 4 5 6. So I didn't given any what do you say, any size. I didn't mention any size. I directly written the number. So if I have written a number directly, the machine understands that it is a decimal number by default, which is of 32-bit in width or capacity. Okay, and in the second example, I have when given again the size or the quantity, and it is tick hexadecimal ABC. The corresponding 32-bit hexadecimal value will be produced as my output. And the third one is tick octa 234. That is the corresponding octa representation of 234 will be present in your 32-bit hexadecimal register in this manner. Okay, let us see how it will be executed in our Verilog HTL program. Okay, so this sized and unsized. So the simulation starts at 0 seconds, and this value will be like resides for 20 seconds, and this value will be resides for 20 seconds, and this value also will be reside for 20 seconds. That means up to here each and every a variable will be present up to 20 seconds. So as I have mentioned that the default register capacity is 32-bit for any compiler or for any simulator, because I mentioned a point that it is a machine specific. Okay, but wantedly here I have taken a equal to 4-bit binary 1101 and 14-bit hexa ABC and 16-bit decimal 31. Okay, let me like simulate this one now. TB. Okay, so what is the thing I have taken here? Yes, 1101. This is the first value. A equal to 4-bit binary 1101 is the value I have taken here. So A equal to 4-bit binary 1101, that is present here, and I said that the default register is 32-bit, because if it is a 32-bit compiler, I will be having a 32-bit representation, and if it is a 64-bit compiler, I will be having a 64-bit representation here in this one. Okay, so the compiler what I am using is of 32-bit. Okay, A equal to 4-bit binary 1101. This for the lowest 4 bits are 1101, and the remaining MSBs are being occupied by zeros. Here you can see here are occupied by zeros, and after 20 seconds what is happening? 14-bit hexa ABC, the corresponding hexadecimal value of C is 1100, and the corresponding hexadecimal value of B is 1011, and the corresponding hexadecimal value for A is 1010. In this way we are getting the output for A as in this manner. Okay, and the remaining MSB bits or the quantity of this MSB bit register are being appended with zeros. All will be appended with zeros. And the next one is 16-bit decimal 31. So 16-bit decimal 31 means we can do the LCM by 2. I mean LCM with 2. Decimal 31 is this is the value what I will be getting. And the remaining bits of A register, which is of 32-bit capacity, will be having zeros. So in this manner we can have the representation for the sized. Okay, coming to unsized, I didn't mention any specifically any size for this one. I didn't have any base format, because if I didn't mention exclusively any base format, by default the machine understands that it is a decimal number. So 23546, but A is what? It is my 32-bit register. So 23546, the what is the value of 23546? This is the value. This is the 32-bit value for your 23546. Okay, and next is size. I didn't mention again here, hexadecimal tree C. So C value is 1101100 and tree value is 0011. You can see here, and the remaining all the bits, all the highest MSB bits in your A register will be appended with 0 or occupied by 0. And similarly, A equal to tick 025, 0 not, it is O represents octa 25. So octa means 3, 5 means 101, 2 means 010. So remaining bits are occupied by zeros in this way. Okay, let us move to next one. So X or Z values. So what are these X or Z value? Okay, so in our Verilog HDL, we are having two unique symbols. One is small x and one is small z. Okay, so these are actually the values, because it's like at anywhere or at every time, sometimes we may not have logic 0 or we may not have logic 1. At that time, x or z values are going to be present definitely. Okay, so unknown value is represented by small x and a high impedance value is represented by a small z. Okay, the small x and small z are again a they are of course a lowercase letters. So 4 bits in hex, 3 bits will be in octa and 1 bit will be in binary. That is the thing what we know familiarly. Okay, now if I have taken like this, for example, if I have given 4-bit binary x, that means all your 4 bits will be occupied by x only. And if I have taken like a 6-bit hexa x, that means all your 6 bits in your register will be occupied by x only. This is the way. And the same follows for your high impedance, which is indicated with lowercase z or small z. So the same 1 bit will be for binary, 3 bits will be represented by for octa, and 4 bits is required to represent any exact quantity. Okay, let us move to this example. And before it, one thing we should be aware of that is filled when, like for example, I have taken like this a 6-bit hexa x and 2. Okay, 6-bit hexa x and 2 x2 I have taken. That means the lowest 4 bits are occupied by 0010 and the next 2 bits, highest 2 bits are occupied by x and x. Okay, this is the representation. So filled with x if the specified MSB is x. For example, I have taken like 12-bit 8-bit hexa x41 12-bit hexa x41. So what is the quantity I am going to get here? The LSB 4 bits will be 0001 and the next 4 bits will be 0100 and the remaining MSB bits will be occupied by x. The same will be followed for z also. Okay, if the MSB is not x like this, if the MSB, for example, let me write 6-bit hexa x41. Okay, this is valid for the example what I have discussed. If the MSB is not x here, it is somewhere like just I am leaving, I don't have anything. So the MSB in this case will be occupied by all the zeros. That makes the difference. Okay, so this is about x or z values, and let me go with this one here again. Okay, x or z. So here I have taken A equal to 12-bit hexa 13x and 6-bit hexa x and 32-bit binary z. Okay, so 12-bit hexa 13x here I am having this one. This is hexa representation. So that means x is how many number of h indicates it is a 4-bit quantity. Hexa is a 4-bit quantity. So x should be repeated, or 4 quantities of x should be present here. Okay, x is repeated here 4 times, and next 3. What is the hexadecimal value of 3? It is 0011, and hexadecimal value of 1 is 0001. That's what it is indicated here. Okay, and with the very next one is 6-bit hexa x. That means here all the x quantities will be how many bits? It is 6-bit, only 6-bit. I am exclusively mentioning that it is a 6-bit hexa x. So that means the remaining MSB bits of your 32-bit A register is occupied by zeros. Okay, and next is A equal to 32-bit binary Z. A equal to 32-bit. So how many bits here Z should occupy? 32 number of times. Z is occupied in A register 32 number of times. You might ask me a question, sir, in A equal to 6-bit hexa x, the MSB, the vacant MSB bits of A register, the MSB bits, why did they not occupied by x is the question. I exclusively mentioned here the size 6. So 6 is the quantity. How many quantities of x should be present? 6-bit hexa x. So that is what I have got here, 6-bit hexa x in this manner. Okay, so be cautious whenever you are using x or z values. Okay, and the very next one is negative numbers. So negative numbers is nothing but these can be specified by putting simply a minus sign before the size. Okay, like this. And if I put my minus sign before the number like this, it is illegal. That means Verilog compiler will not accept, will not compile. Okay, so minus 6 decimal 3, that means it is a 2's complement representation of this one. Okay, that means the result is stored in the 2's complement format. Okay, let us see here. I am having minus 6 decimal 3. So the 3 is my number, 6 is the quantity or size, and D is the base format. Okay, so you can do the 2's complement and find out the result for this one. You are going to get here as this is the one what you are going to get as the result, A equal to something, this one. Okay, now moving to next one, underscore character and question marks. So why these underscore character and question marks are used in our Verilog HDL is simply again for readability of numbers, and for some for example I have taken like this. Let me go with this 1101 is there. Okay, simply if I go on writing like this 10101010 like this, that means can you able to tell how many number of bits are present here? How many number of bits are present here? It is highly impossible. So in order to overcome these things, what I will be doing here, I will just simply put a underscore after every 4 bits. That means it is useful for the readability purpose, like this. For increasing our readability or for increasing our fast reading, we use this underscores like this. Okay, now you can able to tell 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That means 7 4 is 28 bits are present here. Of course, just ignore this one. Okay, I have taken like this, but 28 bits are present here. So this is used mainly for the readability purpose. Underscores are used. Okay, and these underscores are okay. The next one is question mark. We came to know about x or z values. So instead of z, I can use the question mark. Okay, so if I use instead of z question mark, what will be the output? Will be your question. Okay, so here in this one I have taken a equal to 4-bit binary 10 question mark 2 question mark. That means it is a a is a 4-bit quantity. A equal to 4-bit binary 10 question mark. So you can observe the outputs here. That is a equal to 10 z and z. I have got as an output. Okay, and the remaining and the vacant, because a I have told that I have taken it is a 32-bit register. So the MSB bit of your a are occupied by zeros simply. Okay, so a equal to 4-bit binary 10 question mark are replaced by 10 z and z. So question mark is nothing but it is a substitution for your z. That means it produces the same result as your high impedance value z. Okay, and the very next one is strings. So what are the strings here? Similarly, in our C language, we know that it is a sequence of characters enclosed by the double quotations. Okay, so generally these strings are treated as a 1-byte ASCII value. For example, I have taken here a string that is kick. Okay, this is a string actually. This string I kept in my 32-bit register A. Okay, so what will be, that means each and every alphabet of kick is there. How many alphabets are there? 4 alphabets are there. These each and every alphabet like returns me a ASCII value. Okay, so for k there will be some ASCII value, and for c ASCII value, and for I there will be an ASCII value. So all these ASCII values, so I said you that each and every ASCII value is 1 byte of capacity. Okay, so kick is there, kick. Okay, so the 8, this one 8, this one 8, this one 8, 8 4 is 32. That means a should sustain such that it have to hold the output of kick. Okay, that means the output of kick will be returning me how many bits? 8 4s are 32. Okay, 1 byte ASCII value it returns. Each and every alphabet is returning me a 1 byte ASCII value. That means these 4 alphabets are returning me how many ASCII values? 4 byte ASCII values. So 4 byte ASCII value means 4 is a 32. That means there should be some variable that is of 32-bit quantity that is here required to hold the output kick. Okay, so of course I have treated this a is what? A quantity of 32-bit register. So you can see here like kick, each and every ASCII value of k is being written here in this manner, like 10011101011 for k. Like in this manner a is holding the kick ASCII value. Okay, and if I wanted because strings, if I wanted to display in the console window means I have to use %s. %s signifies that I want to represent in my console window, I want to display in my console window a string. That is why a kick got displayed here. Okay, a equal to %s comma a. So in this way we can able to do it. And the next one is identifiers and keywords. So what are the identifiers and keywords are? These plays a crucial role in our programming. Whenever we are doing the Verilog HTML programming, these are highly required. Without them, we cannot do anything. Okay. So identifiers are nothing but these are generally the names given to an objects, because in the example of your ripple carry counter, we have seen the four objects. So how to identify each and every object? I have just given the name. That means I wanted to identify, that means I have given the name. This is the purpose of identifier. So identifiers are the names given to an object so that they can be referred in the design. And coming to the keywords, what are the keywords? These are a special identifiers reserved to define the language construct. Okay. For example, if we see this one as an example, register value. Value is an identifier or input clock. Okay, so register instead of value, let me take some variable or some movie. Register uh, CPU register or flag. So register flag register. Let me take the flag register. So what is a flag? It is an identifier of type reg. What is a clock? It is it is of type input. Flag is of type reg. Flag is a register. Okay, and because I may have many number of register, one register name is flag I have given, and I may have many number of inputs. One of the input is clock. That means here flag is an identifier, here clock is an identifier. By using this, flag is of type reg and clock is of type input. So in this manner, identifiers or keywords are differentiated. So whenever I am using the identifiers here, it should start with an alphabet. Yes, of course it is started with an alphabet, character or a underscore. Like underscore also I can use here. This is also acceptable. And I shouldn't start this identifier with system task like dollar. It is absolutely wrong or illegal. Okay. And coming to keywords, keywords as I have discussed that these are the language construct. Reg, input, begin, end, all this comes under the category of keywords only. Okay. So for example, I have written here reg. A is what? It is of type reg. It is a register. A is a 32-bit register. Okay. And similarly, somewhere wire. What is yeah? Here I will explain. What are the A and B here? These are what? These are variables of type what? Input. That means these are the input variables. S is a input variable. Y is my output variable. Okay. So these are the identifiers and keywords. Okay. Now we do have the escaped identifiers. You might be familiarly knowing about the escaped identifiers in the C language, like new line and tab or a backspace. Like why they will be used backslash, why they will be used. You might be knowing better than me. Of course, we just revise the concept again. And these escaped identifiers begin with a backslash and they will be end with white space. That is, all the characters in between the backslash as well as white space are processed literally by your Verilog HDL compiler, and any printable ASCII characters can be included in the escaped identifier. So that means if I wanted to print A plus B minus C something, or if I want to print some name, for example, you can take RGUKT. So if I want to print means it should be present in between the escaped identifier. That means which start with a backslash and ends with white space. Actually there should be a white space here. That's it. Okay. So A plus B minus C is the identifier which will be printed, and you can print your RGUKT in this manner also. So how to test this one in our Verilog HDL is simply go for your test. Okay, so A plus B plus S, this is the thing I just wanted to print on my output screen or the console window. So this is my test. That means Verilog HDL just ignores this backslash as well as the white space, and in between whatever the text is there, that will be going to be printed in your console window. That's it. Nothing else here. Okay, you can able to see here, right? A plus B plus S. A plus B plus S will be printed on the output screen. This is about escaped identifier. And after this one we will be continuing with data types.